Coming up on UCF Nightly News. Not all Knights will spend their spring breaks on the beach. See how some students use their time off to help others.
A night in Orlando shows you how to add the spring to your break. Locally, see what Florida has to offer during your week off.
And we'll tell you about a new way Student Care Services works harder to help fulfill student needs. You're watching Nightly News, covering the UCF community and the greater Orlando area.
Nightly News starts now.
Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm De'Ara Bradley.
And I'm Vanessa Rodriguez. Today is Friday, March 6th.
You may be packing your bags to travel this spring break, but one group of UCF students is traveling the world to make a difference. Nightly News reporter Maria Laporto caught up with a Knight who is sharing her time and talent this spring break.
During spring break, you can find plenty of students relaxing around the pool, going on a cruise, or even traveling the world. But a few UCF students are using the break to change the world. Melissa Rosario is not your average spring breaker.
I've always loved volunteering, and just hearing about the Alternative Break program, I was able to take volunteering to a whole different level.
Rosario plans to volunteer over spring break with Volunteer UCF's Alternative Break program. From planting a garden in the lower 9th Ward in New Orleans to feeding the homeless of Tampa and mentoring abused young girls in a group home, Rosario says that these experiences help her expand her own learning.
It broadens your horizons and makes you realize that it's not something that's just going on within that community, but it's just multiple communities. So I just wanted to do something different, and once you start doing it, you don't want to stop. It's honestly amazing.
But the trips don't just take place during the spring. Rosario says she led another trip this past Martin Luther King weekend to volunteer at the Children's Home in Tampa. Amy Maitner led a trip last year, and Rosario was one of the first go-getters on the team.
I definitely pushed her to continue on, and I was ecstatic when I saw that she was becoming a site leader.
Rosario has recently gained a position as Alternative Break Program Director with Volunteer UCF for next year. If you want to travel the world and make a difference, Rosario says the best way is to take your learning outside the classroom. Reporting in Orlando, Maria Laporto, UCF Nightly News.
Rosario will travel to the Dominican Republic next week with Volunteer UCF to help young Haitian refugees in kindergarten through 6th grade. Before you log on to Facebook to check out your friends' cruise pics this spring break, you may want to think again. A recent University of Missouri study shows that checking others' happiness on Facebook causes what is known as Facebook envy and leads to increased depression. Counseling and Psychological Services officials say Facebook is not usually the main cause of depression for students, but it can make them feel worse. They encourage enrolled students to utilize CAP services for free at any time.
This week, a night in Orlando brings you more things to do, see, and enjoy around the town. And if you're staying local this spring break, I found a couple of fun places you can soak up the sun, shine state.
If you're staying in Orlando for spring break, you might be wondering, where can I go for a memorable vacation?
There are only 3 rattlesnake roller coaster zip lines in the U.S., and one of them is right here at Forever, Florida.
Visitors buckle up for some thrills through the Florida wilderness. Adventure coaches guided me through the ropes around these sky-high courses right before I took the plunge myself. And don't be surprised if you scream right before the big push. The rush of zipping past treetops is not something you'll soon forget.
This is so crazy, guys. You have to absolutely check this out. Oh my God.
But if soaring to new heights isn't your thing, you may want to consider a relaxing weekend under the sun.
I'm here in Cocoa Beach, where it may not look like much right now, but come next Thursday, it'll be packed and filled with people for Beach and Board Fest Spring Break 2015.
The 3rd annual Beach and Boards Fest is hosted by Ron John Surf Shop next Thursday through Sunday. Surfers will be riding the waves for a chance to win cash prizes. The fest also includes a collegiate invitational that attracts top surfers from Florida universities, including our very own UCF surf team. There will be music, a variety of food trucks, and meet and greets with featured pro athletes. And even though you may not leave Florida this spring break, there's always something fun to do in and around the town.
And if you're brave enough, you can even zip under the light of a star-filled sky. We have a full list of prices, directions, and hours for each activity on our website, nightlynews.ucf.edu. Nightthon hosted its first ever So You Think You Can Morale event this week. Organizations were dared to dance for the kids. Each group performed an original 1-minute line dance. Lead scholars took first place and will have a portion of their dance featured in the Nightthon Morale Dance. UCF's 20-hour dance marathon is March 28th at the CFE Arena.
An increased demand for student help over the past year led to a new campus on service. But some students say they didn't even know it was available. Student Care Services works to find which UCF service best fits your needs. In stressful situations, it may be difficult for students to connect with the right support. SCS workers say they want to be there to connect with students if they need to find help.
And I think it's everybody's responsibility to help a student in need and help somebody in distress. But if they don't know how to, or they don't know all of the ways they can support somebody, that's when it's appropriate to connect somebody with Student Care Services.
Also says they keep a running list of employment opportunities on campus for students looking for financial help. And if you're heading over to Care Services, you might want to know how it's looking outside. Melissa, how's it feeling out there?
Hey guys, yeah, it's actually kind of a chilly day to be outside right now. I know over the past few days we've had temperatures in the high 80s, but right now we're only at about 64 degrees. Humidity is still lingering at about 81%, and the winds coming out of the north at about 11 miles per hour are making it seem even colder. Lots of parts of Central Florida are experiencing temperatures in the low 60s and mid 50s, and we actually only have a 17% chance of precipitation right now, but coming up in our full forecast, I'll give you a look at what parts of the state are experiencing precipitation and what you can expect for your spring break forecast. Back to you, Deara.
Thanks, Melissa. Coming up next on Nightly News, find out what the Bike Week buzz is about on campus.
And one UCF rugby player crushes her competition at home and abroad. We'll show you why her opponents get weak in the cleats next. Were we going too slow?
Spring break.
Yeah, I'm going to Washington, D.C. Go check out all the museums and memorials and whatnot.
And for spring break, I'm going to Key West with my best friends.
Probably go work. back home with my mom or go somewhere and have fun.
I'm going camping this weekend with my dad and my brother.
Lots of Netflix and possibly the beach. Of course, what's spring break without the beach? And just tuning out everything and just relax.
Daytona isn't the only city that celebrates Bike Week. Students and staff at UCF held their own version. Nightly News reporter Arnold Godoy tells us what the campus did to welcome the cycling scene throughout the week.
That's right, Vanessa. Bike Week just wrapped up here at UCF, where many students were using bike racks like these a little more. And dozens of students and the Student Union and Recreation Wellness Center worked together to put on events throughout the week. And it started with a bike flash mob. Dozens of students gathered at UCF and the Wellness Center on Monday with their bikes ready. The group had a UCF police escort as they made their way across campus to the Student Union. Now, Bike Week also encouraged students for a bike-friendly atmosphere at UCF. Environmental experts at UCF are saying that cars are releasing harmful gases at higher rates and that the plants and trees aren't able to absorb them quick enough. Science department officials say that Bike Week is a great week for students to help out.
Rapidly, so it's important that students, faculty, and staff, especially here on campus, are informed of what's going on, and they're informed about the different ways that we can help out the environment.
Lugo encourages students to make little changes like walking and biking in order to help the environment. Reporting live on campus, Arnold Godoy, UCF Nightly News.
Thanks, Arnold. I thought I saw a few more bikes rolling around campus this week. If you're setting sail or visiting Florida's beaches this spring break, you might want to be a little more skin-sensitive. The sun's rays can leave you with something more than just a tan. SkinCancer.org predicts more than 70,000 new cases of melanoma in the U.S. for 2015. Experts say you should always apply SPF 30 sunblock or more when going outside. Well, it might not be sunny in some parts of the country, but there are a few other things going on. Maria Laporto joins us now with a look at what's making national headlines. Maria?
Thanks, Vanessa. While it's Bike Week here at UCF, one Tampa man is walking on foot all the way to the Yankee Stadium. Richard Albero is a 65-year-old Yankee fan who started his journey from Steinbrenner Field in Tampa on Monday. Albero hopes to reach Yankee Stadium in the Bronx to raise money for the Wounded Warriors Project. This includes 20 miles per day over the course of 3 months. His goal is to raise $25,000 for the charity, and he's raised over $15,000 so far. And Albero isn't the only one taking a walk. A curious koala wandered down the streets of Portland, Victoria in Australia. Shoppers were pleasantly surprised when the marsupial stopped them in their tracks. The koala even took on the status of celebrity as he stopped for a moment to pose for a picture with a young boy. The video qualifies as a viral video with more than 500,000 views. Send in the clowns because the elephants will be on short supply. The Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus say by 2018, the Elephant Act will be no more. This comes after several consumers said they disagreed with the treatment of the elephants. Animal activist group PETA has protested the act for more than 35 years. The circus currently owns 43 elephants and 29 of them live at the Center for Elephant Conservation here in Central Florida. That's all for national headlines. Back to you, De'Ara.
Thanks, Maria. And this spring break, instead of partying, one UCF senior will be representing her country. The UCF Women's Rugby Club has a player who's trying to use her skills to help USA take home gold medals. Nightly News reporter Lila Altouni spoke to players about their teammate and just how special she is.
Very hardworking. Supporting her is really fun. Very fast.
Very fast.
They're one of the fastest girls in the world playing rugby.
They're talking about Kristen Thomas. UCF senior Chris Thomas took her first steps on a rugby field just 3 years ago. And now she's playing games against teams from all over the world.
She's picked to go to Brazil and played in 6 international matches and scored 5 times in 6 games.
Right now, Chris is in San Diego practicing with the USA Women's Eagles Sevens rugby team.
There you go.
But she hasn't forgotten about her team back home.
I rep UCF like so hard when I'm out here. Like I love that team so much.
On March 14th and 15th, Chris will join the U.S. Eagles as they compete against South Africa, Russia, and New Zealand to try and qualify for the 2016 Olympics. But Coach Raul Bess doesn't seem too worried about it.
RugbyBull.com reports that rugby is the fastest growing collegiate sport. Coach Bess hopes that Kristen's international success helps bring attention to UCF rugby teams. He also hopes that the club can someday become varsity.
Still ahead on Nightly News, Tom Ebel shows us which Knight hit her first career home run in a comeback win.
And see how one social media site tries to protect the lives of its users. Next.
Best spring break so far was last year. I actually went on a cruise for 7 days.
I went to Cancun before. I went to Germany and Amsterdam and a bunch of different places in Europe. It was really amazing.
Went to New York one time, me and my family, because we have family out there.
I went on a cruise for about a week, and we went to Mexico, Belize, a couple other places, got to see some crazy wildlife, got to go scuba diving and stuff like that. So that was a really cool experience I had.
Welcome back, Knights fans. I'm Tom Ebel, and this is your UCF Sports Update. The softball team won in thrilling fashion in a late edition game Tuesday versus Maryland, and an unlikely hero sparked a comeback. Senior outfielder Maddie Schroeder had yet to hit a home run in her college career, but after one swing of the bat, that was a thing of the past.
It was a very surreal feeling. I really didn't feel it come off the bat, so I must have hit it in the sweet spot, but I was hauling my butt around base because I didn't think it was going to go over, and then when I finally saw it over, it was just an amazing, incredible feeling.
Schroeder's homer helped give life to a Knights team that trailed Maryland by 4 runs heading into the 6th inning. Sophomore Brittany Solis says it pumped the team up.
I haven't seen our dugout that excited in a while, so it was nice. She definitely got the spark back in us for this game.
Although Schroeder provided the spark, Solis finished the game a hero, trailing 6-5 in the bottom of the 7th with 2 outs. Solis walloped one to left field, giving the Knights a walk-off win. The sophomore shortstop says the team knew what they had to do to win the game.
We try not to pay attention to the score. Yeah, you want to know how many runs you need, but we try and get it one hit at a time, try and get those runs, and we came back and won it.
Coach Renee Lours-Gillespie says the team's overall effort impressed her the most.
I'm just, really proud of the girls and how they fought to come back, being down 5-1 and fighting to come back to win that game. And most hits that we've had all season in a single game with 11 hits, I mean, it was needed for us to get that spark back, and I think they're ready to play now.
With the win, the Knights improved to 15-3 on the season. They host the UCF Knights Invitational this weekend. UCF senior outfielder Jamarcos Woods was named the American Athletic Conference Player of the Week for his performances last week against Bethune-Cookman and Ole Miss. The left-handed hitter has posted a .389 batting average so far on the year. He also had a batting average over .300 in the series against the Florida Gators. Although Woods says it's an honor, all he wants to do is win games for his team.
It meant a lot. It credits, our coaching staff, my hard work. I haven't really had the 3 years that I wanted to at UCF, but definitely I want to go out with a bang. It's just an accolade on the sheet. But as long as we're winning, I'm contributing to the team. That's all that matters.
He'll be back in action tonight at 6:30 against Columbia at J. Bergman Field. March Madness is finally in the air, and up next for the UCF women's and men's basketball teams are the conference tournaments. The women will face Cincinnati today at 4 p.m., and the men's tournament starts March 12th, and they will play either Tulane or ECU in the first round. That's all for your sports. Vanessa, back to you.
Thanks, Tom. Centers for Disease Control officials say suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death in the country for 10 to 24-year-olds, and Facebook is trying to help. Facebook's new tool now allows a concerned friend to report someone they think might be in trouble. Users can report suicide threats to administrators who privately message the troubled friend. After the user gets the message from Facebook, they have the option to speak with a helpline worker or get tips and support.
And when we come back, Melissa Murray will give you your full forecast as we head into spring break.
And find out how you could be $75,000 richer with just one idea. Stay with us.
Oh, my ideal spring break would be like Panama City, you know, really tearing it up.
Italy, because their food, and I would eat a lot.
The super classic spring break, I would love to see like how that actually is.
Definitely go to Hawaii because my best friend lives there, and I would just surf all weekend.
I'd probably just go somewhere tropical.
I'd probably go to Spain because I really want to see the Sangria Familia.
California, because I love it out there, and if I was in California, ideally we'd go to Vegas too.
Those are some interesting spring break ideas, but I'm probably going to spend a lot of time sleeping this week. What about you, Vanessa?
You know, De'Ara, I will probably be interning a lot, but if I had my choice, I'd probably go somewhere really, really cold like Alaska, as funny as that may seem.
Interesting.
Hopefully the weather will be good for you, for those of you that do have plans. I hope we have some nice weather next week. Melissa, what can we expect?
Well, guys, I know a lot of people are actually going to be staying in Florida for spring break, and you know, a lot of people are going to be expecting some warm temperatures. Hopefully they can warm things up either in Miami or maybe going to Palm Beach. So if we actually look at our temperatures right now, Tampa's at 72 degrees right now, and Orlando is at 69. Down in Miami, they're at about 81 degrees, so they're a lot warmer than we are. Up north in Jacksonville, they're at about 53. And Tallahassee is at about 58 degrees. So if we take a look at our heat index map for the nation, I know a lot of people are going to be going maybe up north. I know a lot of people are going skiing and taking a trip up towards the snow, and there's definitely a lot of that. I know up north my family's been experiencing a lot of snow, about 8 inches or so over the past 2 days. So if you take a look at the temperatures, you can see that they've had basically in the 0s, 10s, and 20s for temperatures. And then down here in Florida, we're only at about the 40s and 50s and 60s. So it's a lot warmer over here. And then if we take a look at our next map, you can see kind of what's going on around the nation as far as precipitation and fog and things like that. So actually in Florida, we're the ones experiencing the most rain and fog as well. I know waking up this morning we saw a lot of fog and it was a little bit hazy outside, but it's clearing up for the next day or so. Up north in Michigan, they do have some snow coming, but nothing too much to worry about. If we take a look at our precipitation map, we can see that Florida, again, is pretty much the only place we're seeing a lot of rain. Georgia, they're experiencing a little bit of precipitation, but nothing too much to worry about. So in our 5-day forecast, we can see that right now we're going to be having about a pretty clear weekend, 72 and 75 for the weekend, but it'll clear up and get a lot nicer coming back into the week. So if you're staying here for spring break, good temperatures to come. Back to you guys.
If you have a startup business proposal and think it could make you a lot of money, listen up. UCF is hosting its own version of Shark Tank. It's called the Joust New Venture Challenge. A $75,000 cash reward will go to the students with the best business proposals. Applications to compete are due March 17th. Workshops and Blackstone Launchpad coaching is available to help competitors prepare. The top 4 finalists will joust April 17th at the CFE Arena.
It's time to bust a move. One UCF group bonds over breaking. Break dancing, that is. From a basic head backspin to the complexity of a halo. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Be sure to check us out online at nightlynews.ucf.edu.
Thanks for joining us and have a great weekend.